hooked in the game.
The FA Cup is back on the agenda, and you'd feel that Arsenal probably have finally got a reprieve from the toughest brackets they've had this year. But let's bear in mind, Brentford are 8th in the Premier League, so there is no room for complacency as Arsenal look to the semi-final. The return of the FA Cup back on the agenda, and we've got an all-Premier League tie to bring this afternoon, and it's champions-elect of the Premier League, Arsenal, up against Minnows Brentford, who have had a magnificent year, not least of which with their progression in this competition. But of course, because Arsenal are high and mighty and scoring for fun, it's going to be a very difficult afternoon. And for Alexander Isak, well, he continues to, kind of bang in the goals really, although they have dried up a little bit recently. But he's on the verge of beating that Premier League record of 36. I believe he's sitting on 28 for the moment. He's already the top scorer in this competition with 5. He's catching up in the Champions League. And in the Carabao Cup, I think he's got a couple as well. A couple of changes today for Arsenal. Yuri Timber comes in to partner William Saliba in the centre of defence. It's Fabio Vieira getting a start in the midfield, but no change at the front three. It's still Saka, Trossard and Alexander Isak. Daniel Jennings once again makes the bench, and hopefully he will get another start soon. He's not really started that much since Celtic, but of course you can understand that, being his main competition is David Raya. For the Brentford, Ivan Toney was pretty much Saudi Arabia bound in the January transfer window, and he was probably an Arsenal target at 1.2, but neither have happened, and he makes the start for Brentford today. Christian Norgard is in the centre of defence, or the midfield rather, and Waza is another one to keep an eye on, who has been on Arsenal's shortlist, if you believe the rumours. And it says, if you believe the rumours, well, do Arsenal need any more improving? They've got Lenny Yaro and Gyökeres and Isak and Moreno and Sterling on loan. They had Neto before he was recalled back to Bournemouth. And Arsenal, of course, have to be mindful of the financial fair play rules, but I think they're pretty much set for another 3 or 4 seasons. So maybe they can start kind of saving some money to kind of comply with that, and then retool maybe in another 5 years' time or so. If that's how it works, I'm not really sure. But for Arsenal, they've certainly got a good enough squad already. I don't think they need Ivan Toney and Waza now. They've kind of got their people, especially in a certain Alexander Isak today. And he makes the start, and he was already with a shot at Flecken with a good save. It's going to be a difficult afternoon for Brentford, and Mikel Arteta taking no chances with this matchup. There was some talk maybe Daniel Jennings could actually get a start today, but Raya was picked over him once again, which you can probably understand, given it's David Raya. And here is Christian Norgard. He's giving away to Trossard. That's not a good way for Brentford to start the game. They're losing the ball. Fabio Vieira obviously covering for the injury to Mikel Moreno. Still not back yet. But he is pretty much going to be back soon, I believe. Obviously Gabriel Martinelli is then the last one on the injury list, and he's out for the rest of the season. That torn ACL, that kind of dreaded injury that has been such a common thing in sports over the last year or so. You could argue it started all the way back in 2011 with an injury to NBA Hall of Fame kind of electee, Derrick Rose. At least he's going to have his jersey retired if things are to be believed. The one jersey could be going in Hall of Fame. He could still make it, Derrick Rose, but unfortunately for him, it's always a story of what could have been. And I think what could have been, really could have been the sky for that kid. But unfortunately, sport can be a cruel, very cruel business at times. And that's where the ACL kind of thing really started. An injury to him, and it's been a very common injury ever since, and that's what Gabriel Martinelli is suffering from right now. He's out for the rest of the year. And Arsenal have managed very well without him, it has to be said. Good hit there by David Raya. Isak gets there. To Saka. Isak. Anderson gets there. And he's got tackled by Odegaard. He's Odegaard now. Isak into the box. The inevitable has happened. Alexander Isak has scored. And that is goal 6 of this competition for Isak. Now, that puts him pretty much at the mid-40s mark for the entire season. And it has been a breakout season for Alexander Isak today. And it continues today, rather. Another goal for him. Well, he took the 14 shirt more often because I think that was his number at Newcastle. And it brought him some luck. Of course, comparisons were immediately made to the great Thierry Henry, and let's be honest here, he's far surpassed it as far as his first season is concerned, and Arsenal are up by a goal to nil. And, the very thing that had been missing from... Oh, and Ivan Toney immediately responds. And another wonder strike beats David Raya. Well, I was about to say, we say comparisons to Thierry Henry and how he's surpassed them. Well, I don't think Thierry Henry ever got near the 45 or almost 50 goal mark that Isak has reached over his first season in Arsenal shirt, obviously discounting his games at Newcastle, but I believe he didn't score and his first goal until that Spurs game when he made his Arsenal debut. But Brentford certainly not going down, or are going down swinging if they are going to go down in this matchup because of Arsenal's overall strength. But Ivan Toney has drawn his team level. And Arsenal have to do it again. Here they come with Isak. And this time Flecken keeps him out. But an immediate response to the other side now. And eventually cleared away. Play there by Vieira and Shinchenko. Trossard urged to shoot. And he obliged, but it wasn't a very good shot, unfortunately. Trossard is still the Champions League top scorer with those 8 goals that he scored against BSC Young Boys. It has been all Arsenal this year, hasn't it? One man, Isak leading the FA Cup and Premier League scoring charts. Trossard leading the Champions League one. The only difference is with the Carabao Cup, I think Martinelli was on 4 before he went down injured, so he had a lot. But I think Mo Salah, following his magnificent performance in the final against Manchester City, ended up top scorer in the end. I think Salah scored 4 or 5, and I think he was on 2 by the time they got to the final. So I think it's fair to say Mo Salah won the Golden Boot in that competition. David Raya is still leading the Golden Glove competition in the Premier League. He won't be getting a clean sheet today. So he's beaten by a magnificent strike from Ivan Toney. Well, very much like Manchester United used to do in the 90s, especially their treble season. Arsenal will always score. So don't count them out yet. Trossard makes his way into the box. And he goes down. No penalty given. Well, we saw a penalty in the Women's Super League match between Manchester United and Aston Villa. Wonderfully saved by Fiona Dodds in the end. Saka. Ben White has gone down, no foul given again. Here comes Weezer. Tony finds Weezer and then it's back to Tony. Ewan Timber was the last defender on the line and he got the ball. Ben White. And now Saka. Saka. Winning his man for pace, he goes down, no penalty given for Arsenal and it should be a penalty. The fans aren't happy. Back comes Weezer for Brentford. And Brentford got away with one. That should have been a penalty for Arsenal. All things considered. But back they come. What a goal. He's up. He's giving it away. It's been a wild first half, first 30 minutes. Here's Mwembu. Into Fabio Vieira, but Brentford keep the ball thanks to Yalek's positioning. Mwembu again. And now Tony. Oh, flicked away by Saliba. Here's Ben White. Really had the ball away. He does. Overguard. Captain Marvel. Isaac to Saka. Formidable partnership of the 24-25 football season. Here comes Saka. And it's a great save from Fleckett. Now Trossard. And only Trossard will know whether that was a shot or a cross. It looked rather like a shot to me. I don't think it was from that angle. I think he was probably trying to whip it back in with pace and hoped that Saka and Isaac could get on the end of it. Unfortunately, neither did. It was out for a Brentford throw. And now here is Weezer. Waiting for a Saka, I would think, and he's got it. Saka's offside. Really clear cut that one. Here's Tony. There's Norgard. I believe Norwegian teammate. Martin Odegaard. Arnold. Here's Mwembu to Tony. And Ivan Toney has got the beating of everybody! Oh! That was a close strike. That could have so easily been a goal. Here's Weezer. Brentford are really ending this first half strongly. Another strike. Well, You may think that clean sheets have been very difficult to come by for David Raya, but in reality, they've been good strikes that have beaten him. Tony was certainly no exception to that goal. It's a foul on Saka. Very lucky not to go into the book, I don't think, and he didn't, but so he's been denied a goal scoring opportunity there. That could have been a sending off. To the end of the first half here, and Arsenal had this free kick. There's Odegaard, and he went for the shot, and Hickey got the ball in the face, and he'll be very thanked for that one. That'll be a battle scar he carries. I don't think he knew anything about it, but he'll certainly take it as it keeps his team level. Only momentarily, maybe. Here's Trossard. He's going to find Isak. It's inevitable, surely. No. No, Alexander Isak, you would have put your house on him scoring from here. But there, just wide. In fact, I think the referee's actually signaling a corner. And that would be wide. That would actually make sense. Fans in full voice, as you'd expect here at the Emirates this afternoon. There's so much to cheer about for their team this season. It could all end up in some silverware, finally, for the Premier League. The first time since the Invincible season. Funny how things work out in that regard. And they won this very competition back in the lockdown year of 2020. Some people will give that an asterisk. I don't really know why, to be completely honest. It's a bit of an unfair criticism, really. Well, if that is an asterisk, which would be really unfair, on this season's evidence, you'd have to say it's going to be legit, but at this very moment, it's heading towards extra time penalties because we have a 1-1 scoreline, because immediately as Alexander Isak opened the scoreline, Tony scored just seconds from the kickoff later. So that's why we're deadlocked at a goal apiece. Welcome back to the second half here at the Emirates Stadium for this FA Cup tie. It's an all-Premier League one today as Arsenal take on Brentford, and it's a good one to be fair. As Brentford equalised moments after Alexander Isak had opened the scoring for his 6th goal of the competition. And here they come, Arsenal immediately off the kickoff here. Is Isak to add another? Surely. Oh, it's at the post, it's on the back of Flecken's head. And here comes Trossard. And Flecken probably knew absolutely nothing about the ball bouncing off the post onto the back of his head. And, well, got it really handed to Brentford this season. They've done outstandingly well. Lost David Raya to Arsenal, which is probably a no-brainer when you think about it. But Brentford, very much like Newcastle United, have been the standouts this year, losing their star players to maybe Arsenal or maybe another top 4 club in particular, and then doing very well because of it. Finds Saka, it's in and it's a goal for Bukayo Saka, knocking it out of the park. And inevitability about it, and it's Saka with the assist from Alexander Isak as those two continue to torch teams, really. Their incredible chemistry together. These two have really formed a formidable partnership over the course of this season. And today, both of them have scored. And Brentford are now back behind, but not out of it by a long chalk. Arsenal by 2-1. Well, in the games that Isak doesn't score, Saka usually does. Maybe sometimes the other way around, but I think more often than not, they definitely score when they're on the pitch together. And certainly done a great job today. Well, next for Brentford, a trip to St James's Park, one of the most atmospheric stadiums in the Premier League, one of the best stadiums in the land. It's definitely, in terms of atmosphere, almost nobody can beat it. Newcastle United and St James's Park. It's going to be a tough one for Brentford, to be fair. But those are the two teams we were talking about having very stellar seasons despite what has happened to them. And now they come up against each other. These are... Well, as much as he probably would want to stay at Newcastle United to some degree, there will be questions over whether Newcastle United were doing it for financial fair play reasons or whether Isak just wanted a new location. I think maybe to some degree it could be a bit of both. But in any case, Isak made the right decision and everybody benefited from this decision, as it looks like. And Tony, saved by David Raya. In comes Weezer, and a good save by Raya again. The ball's everywhere, and he's gathered it somewhat, but Yuri and Timber really got in his way there, and he was very lucky to get it. And stunning stuff from Raya again, and Tony flies it wide. And we were just saying, well, Isak probably made the right decision coming to the Emirates. He's almost surefire to be a Premier League champion at the end of it all. And maybe could be winning the FA Cup as well. And maybe even the Champions League, don't forget. Even though Arsenal were most recently drawn against Atletico Madrid. But they did beat them in the league fixture match. And that will give them some hope. And if they can get a draw, at least away from home, it would certainly be a good start to that two-legged battle. In football terms, that is. Yuri and Timber to Shinchenko. Hickey gets it away. Mwembu has a lot of space here. Runs out of it and runs into Timber. Oh, and now Mwembu's come up with it again, and it's 2-2. And Saliba tried to get there, but he didn't. And it pretty much ended at Mwembu's feet, to be honest. It was a good pass, to be fair. He finally got the beating of Timber. Raya is unlucky, and so Saliba, to be fair. He did very well. It's a good strike, to be fair, actually. And Brentford just will not go quietly in this one, and you expect nothing less. They are the kind of minnows here, if you like. Although both teams are Premier League calibre. And Brentford, the little band of fighters. That's what Brentford has been since they first came into the Premier League, and they set the Premier League alight really with their absolutely valiant fight to avoid the drop. They did better than that. Was they beat Manchester United? I think it was 4-0. I think in only the second game of the season. That was when Cristiano Ronaldo was playing. That's even more of a interesting achievement there for Brentford. And they've captured the hearts of many ever since, very much like the Blackpools of days of old. Everyone loves a good minnow story, and Brentford certainly provide it. But their squad is also good. They may be just minnows in terms of stature when it comes to the Premier League, but their squad is good, and Tony especially. And they're certainly proving their worth today. Arsenal will want to avoid extra time after that 120-minute plus slog against Chelsea, in which Kai Havertz rescued them from the jaws of a penalty shootout. There's Trossard. Moves it back towards Odegaard. Odegaard gets the ball anyway, and he takes the shot. It's pulled away, and now Trossard is offside. Rather unfortunate, to be fair. Flecken will be grateful for the referee's intervention. Here's Pinot. And that's probably going to go out for a throw-in, but it was kept in. Saka is relentlessly chasing Damsgaard. He's lost it. Arsenal almost with a blitzing counter-attack, but unfortunately no. Mbembu. Little ball in. David Raya gets there. And here's Norgard. Damsgaard. Cleared away by Odegaard. And we'll get an assist for that goal from Mbembu. So I don't know, where was Isak being when he initially passed that ball? Tackled by Saliba. Oh God. Isak. Another mazy run. Goal. Almost no doubt about it. Alexander Isak gets another. And Arsenal restore their lead again. Isak is in this sort of form, he's almost unstoppable. And if Arsenal do win silverware this season, it'll probably be 80% down to him. All the talk last season was Arsenal need a striker. They found it, and he's delivering on the promise that he showed to do so. But Brentford are still fighting for this game, and Yanlet wants to say about David Raya. Zinchenko to Vieira. And Arsenal have, of course, got Brentford later in the season in April at the Emirates Stadium. So it's not the first and last time they'll see Brentford. Oh, and I think I noticed Isak turning a little bit awkwardly there. Let's hope he's running it off. And Mikel Arteta has immediately responded. And Brentford also make a substitution. But Mikel Arteta has immediately responded. Alexander Isak is making way for Kai Havertz. Bren Van Dongen's coming on for Ben White. And Ricardo Calvori is coming on for, I believe, Yuri Timber. To be partnered up with Saliba for the last 10 minutes of the game. So, immediate response from Mikel Arteta is to take Alexander Isak straight off to avoid any further strain if he did pick up an injury back there. Well, worries are that as De Silva came on for Brentford, worries are that if Isak goes down, the whole operation could fall apart for Arsenal. But to be quite honest, in the games that Isak hasn't really featured or been rather ineffective, Arsenal have coped very well. So I don't think it's going to be a huge amount of concern until it probably does become that. But with Arsenal, very unlikely to happen as of now. Just keeps the ball. And Dongen finds Saka. Flecken saves it. There's Potter. And Duncan Foster. By Saliba. And I think it's a Brentford corner. No, it's an Arsenal goal kick. Poor defending here for Brentford, and they've been made to pay. Leo Trossard, that was too easy. Arsenal now have sealed it for today. where were the gaps here for Brentford? Look at this. Just huge gap, really. And that's poor defending. Well, Brentford have been relatively solid all game long, but that was a bit of a low point, and Trossard made them pay. And the lead is now 4-2. I have to say Arsenal have put their ticket to the next round. But we're hoping not to come up against Manchester City again. For what would be the 5th time this season, coincidentally. They just don't have to deal with Spurs, they already knocked them out. Start to have it. Zinchenko. Trossard. Can really just cruise the finish line. Trossard gets another. And it is 5-2 when Arsenal keep up the pressure. Certainly the right thing to do. Another wondrous strike from Leo Trossard. And he is thriving this season. Maybe not so much as Isak or Saka, or Isak in particular, but certainly having his own breakout time with 2 goals, especially here today, and setting a new Champions League record in the process this season. 5 minutes to add it on time. We could add on 10 and Arsenal would win here this afternoon. It's been relatively comfortable for them, to be honest. Ball's ended up right at the other end of the pitch, and Flecking returned to centre, and it ended up with Arsenal. And Donga, of all people. It's gone down. I think Pincock got the ball first. London. Tackled by Zinchenko, out for a corner. Pinnock. Zinchenko hits it clear. And that will probably be the final action of the game, because we're at the 6-minute mark for this game now. There you go. Final whistle. And it was over a bit of a while ago, but Arsenal wanted to make doubly sure with more goals. 5-goal 2-win today, but credit Brentford for an equally impressive fight. But Arsenal once again just proved too strong for pretty much anybody here at the moment. Alexander Isak getting 2, Trossard getting 2 as well. And the rest is the rest. And Arsenal progressing to the next round. They'll hope it's not City, but I think even on this evidence it may be City who are a little bit weary. Arsenal 5, Brentford 2. Let's have a look at all the other scores from this round, the FA Cup. Can't believe we're in round 6. The semi-finals are next. Liverpool beating Bournemouth by 2-0. Fulham beating Stoke by 2-1. And Manchester City narrowly, actually, beating QPR by 1-0. And what a spirited fight from QPR that is. And that means for the semi-final that Manchester City take on Liverpool and Fulham have Arsenal. And we could be having another big Premier League side in the final. At least one. Fulham hoping for more of the minnows' sake there.